What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So excited, like beyond excited to start filming this video for you guys today. This is gonna be 3 big lessons that I've learned from backpacking. If you're new to backpacking, you may have not learned these lessons out for yourself, learn from my mistakes, so to speak, but these are just a couple of the many things backpacking has taught me over the years. So I'm gonna get into the video here in a second, but let's get right into the reason why I'm so excited to film this today. I got my name inscripted Boba Fett mug and a freshly filled growler from a local brewery. Oh man, oh god, that's heavy. I'm weak. I'm so weak. I thought it'd be easier to pour like this. Oh, that's foamy. I failed. I should have focused on a good pour rather than filming. I fail at life. Oh well. We're gonna let this settle a little bit, and I'm gonna top her off. But anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. It's a little bit different. Can't go out drinking since the virus has shut everybody down, but 50% off a growler. So I haven't filled this thing in months, and what a better day to fill a growler and film a video. Oh man, you guys know I like my dark beer. Oh dude, that's good. Oh yeah. Okay, I got my script here. See, it's a short one. Short video for you guys today. Actually, I don't know if it's gonna be short because I am the king of rambling. Let's get right into it with number 1. Learning how to prevent and deal with nature's summertime gifts. That's gonna be my number 1 on this one, AKA nasty plants and the really annoying bugs that you encounter out on the trail. If you're not familiar to going out in the woods, or if backpacking is new to you, this is something that might, keep a lot of people away. It's definitely a deciding factor for a lot of people of why they do not go in the woods, and that is like mosquitoes and flies and all these different bugs. For me, especially poison ivy. I know out west you guys have poison oak more prominently. You don't have like a lot of poison ivy here. It's kind of the opposite. We have a little bit of poison oak, but poison ivy is just everywhere. But the way I've learned to deal with these issues over the years has greatly enhanced my backcountry experience. I've just learned how to deal with them, as well as just been around them enough that they don't bother me as much anymore. So first off, let's go with the plant poison ivy. I used to backpack in pants because I was so terrified of getting poison ivy. Like I said in my clothing video, I backpack primarily in shorts now. Before I started doing that, I learned my plant identification on poison ivy like to a T. Like I can pick poison ivy out 50 feet away. That is literally the one plant that I know like every different way to identify it. Like I can tell you 100% if this plant I'm looking at right now, which is my table, is poison ivy or not. Hiking down some of these trails, there's poison ivy everywhere, especially in Ohio. And I was constantly worried about getting it all over my legs and thus maybe spreading it all over my body. So I took the time, I really researched and learned how to identify the plant, so I don't worry about it anymore. Now the bugs, and I'm pretty much talking about mosquitoes, spiders, and ticks. Those are the 3 bugs that bother me the most in the woods. I remember when I first started backpacking, I wanted to really just get used to being around bugs a little bit. Every now and then, like you see a spider crawling on you and you get that it catches you off guard. Like I'm not really afraid of spiders, but if I just look down and see one crawling on my hand, like even now that I am a little bit more immune to spiders, sometimes it'll get me. It'll still startle me a little bit. Like if you see a spider crawling on you and you freak out, there's a better chance of it biting you. So if you see something crawling on you, I just give it a swift blow or a quick swat or a flick or something. Go hike Shawnee State Forest in the middle of August, and when you're clearing out thousands of spider webs, you are immune to the feeling of spider webs across your face. All right, that's a little bit better there. But spiders can and will still bite you, just like mosquitoes, and that's just like the gift that keeps on giving. Even when you get off the trail, you get to take home a little something. But when it comes to deterring the mosquitoes, I usually bring like a little bug spray of like really high concentrated of DEET. You know, whatever you bring, it's got to have a lot of DEET in it to really be effective towards mosquitoes. But that's really nothing. That's nothing to worry about in the grand scheme of everything that could go wrong when you're out there. You know, it's just something that we don't need to worry about, that we need to get accustomed to being around, and thus, you know, letting us enjoy ourselves more while we're out. If they're bad, there's really not much you can do to keep them off you. I mean, you can always have a head net. I've never really needed one in the areas I've backpacked before, but that's always an option. As far as ticks go, I don't even want to get in the topic of ticks. I've said it 1,000 times. You guys know I have had a very, very bad tick problem. And no, I'm not going to throw up the B-roll of my legs with thousands of tick bites. I know you guys are tired of seeing that, but I do. I've had some bad encounters with ticks, and I spray my gear diligently. Is that right? Is that the right word? I spray my gear with permethrin now. I take it out in the backyard and I completely soak all the clothes that I backpack in all year long. And also just the knowledge of knowing exactly what ticks look like when you're out there, knowing that you need to do a tick check before you go to bed every night. That's just one of those things that, you know, I didn't do at one point in time. And I don't make that mistake anymore. So that's definitely a huge learning experience for me. Was, you know, I dealt with all the tick bites all over my body for weeks, and I'm never going to go through that again. I will deal with the situation at hand when it comes again, and I'm not going through that. Woo, that one was long. See, I've already talked for 18 minutes on this topic. Oh, I'm going to have to chop so much out of this video. All right, that brings us to number 2. This is a how to do on the trail, is be super methodical. I've really rushed into a lot of trails. I've made rash decisions while on the trail that have put me in some precarious situations, so to speak. I think before you hit the trail, you really, really need to plan things out. Like, you can always plan like your water stops and camping areas and whatnot, and those are very important. But I think the biggest thing, which you can argue that water might be the biggest thing that you need to worry about while you're out there, but I think a huge thing is get to know the map. You need to really study the map. Hopefully it's got elevation on it. Topography? Topo or topo map? Let me know in the comments, because it's topography, but I've heard people say topo maps. I want to know how it's supposed to be said. But anyway, you should have elevation on a map so you can get to know, you know, when you're going around mountains, when you're going up and over hills and whatnot. Really study that map, know what terrain you're doing. That way, if you come to an intersection that's not on the map, which always happens if you're new to backpacking, you will always encounter trails that come off that are unmarked, that are not on the map, that might go in the right direction, but might be a mile or two soon or late. And you need to know when your trails are cutting elevation or what they're doing. So basically, you just need to be really familiar with the area you're going to before you go there. Do extensive planning. There's actually been about 3 backpacking trips that I can think of right off the top of my head where I almost went the wrong way immediately off the trail. So take your time at the trailhead and take extra time at every trail intersection, whether it be looking at the map physically or having a GPS. Just take your time, be patient with all the intersections, and be 100% sure of the way you're going. You know, not only just does it keep you from getting lost, but it will save you time in the long run, because we've all hiked miles in the wrong direction and had to backtrack to hit the right trail for just a stupid error. A stupid, like, why did I go this way? This is clearly not the right way to go, but I was being impatient. Like, it happens. So that's my advice to you. Just be patient out there. I'm a super impatient person, which is why this is a huge lesson for me. I've really learned how to slow down out there, especially doing solos. You got nobody to cover you, so you really got to be on top of your game. This is a stout. stout. That's a man's beer. So let's go to number 3. This is kind of a stupid one, but it's definitely something that I learned just last year. Basically, it could have been a little bit of a sour memory had I not followed this rule, and that is carry your permit. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, what do you mean carry your permit? That's a given. You fill out a permit, you carry it. Are you an idiot, Bryce? Well, I live in Ohio. We fill out permits at the trailhead, and you do not see a park ranger or a forest ranger anywhere you hike around here. Come to think of it, I've never seen a forest ranger or officer or whatever you want to call them. I've never seen one on this side of the country ever. Not once. I was hiking in Oregon last year on the PCT, and I got stopped by a real nice girl. She was a forest ranger. She was actually kind of hiding back in the bushes around a turn. So, you know, you could not see her until she popped out and confronted you. She was just out there checking permits. And for a second, she was a very, matter-of-fact, stern officer. I mean, they are basically a law enforcement agency out there. I had my permit and everything. It kind of gave me a freak out moment because I couldn't remember where I put it, but I threw it in my my food bag, and I had it. And once I gave it to her, she was really cool, down to earth. I sat there and talked to her for a couple minutes. But carrying permits is something that's not to be taken lightly. Like, if I didn't have it that day, that I don't know what the fine would be. That might have been $80 to $100, and it wouldn't have ruined my trip. But it definitely just, man, that would have been a bad memory. That's just something I don't want to go through. Not to mention, who wants to spend, $50 to $150 on just something stupid as not filling out a paper at a trailhead? To be quite honest, I have always filled out permits on the trail. When I say I don't always carry them, it's kind of half true, because I always start the trail with them, and I always use them as fire starter. I always burn those things. And I remember after I saw that woman on the PCT, and I remember thinking, it's a good thing I have not had any fires on this trip, because I probably would have burnt that or use it as fire starter like I have in the past. Out west, they definitely take their national parks and national forests more seriously. They're definitely more regulated than they are out here. They really enforce them. They do not enforce them at all over here, but we have only a couple that are, I don't want to say good. Tucker! Yes, I know. Thank you. Thank you for keeping us safe. Tucker, my German Shepherd here. He's a very, very well trained. I'm talking like he is so well trained that he will bark at everybody that walks in front of our house. I don't ever get mad at him for that, interrupting videos. So, I don't even know where I was. But anyway, fill out your permits. It only takes a second on the trail. I've been in some places on the eastern United States where I feel like they might run into me someday. And I've always carried permits, like when I'm in the Great Smoky Mountains and areas like that are very heavily trafficked, big tourist places. I carried permits there, but I definitely will have it on hand, because I had to dig through my pack, and I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's something that's worth saying to my fellow viewers that are from this area, where if you go in the woods, you might not even see somebody else. Pretty much all I have to say on that topic. So carry your permit, be super methodical with your planning and while you're navigating through a trail, and take your time, learn the poisonous plants in your area that are, bugging you in your head. It might not even be poison ivy, it might be something else. Whatever your fears are in the woods, conquer that fear. Because poison ivy for me is just one of those things that I hate. I know what it is now. I know it when I see it, and that has helped me so much. That and bug prevention. I mean, everybody can use a little bit of that. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I will address that I didn't think I was going to go down this road, but I have started a Patreon account. If you're interested in that, I'm not sure. I'm still kind of on the fence whether I want to promote it a lot. I might just kind of mention it here and there and let it sit. Even if you're a big fan of the channel and you watch everything, don't feel obligated to donate to that. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I really I would like to be compensated for making videos. I actually filmed this one pretty quick, but my last clothing video I made, I spent an hour filming that. Trimmed it down to about, 20 minutes or so. I don't think I'm a slow editor. I'm just super methodical, and I'm super picky. I'm a perfectionist with a lot of things. And I had upwards of 13, 14 hours in that one video, and trust me, you don't make a lot of money with the following that I have on a video like that. So it would be really nice to get compensated a little bit more to help me just have a little bit more drive to create videos like this. So if you guys are willing to donate something, I put the tiers really low. They recommend like $3, $10, something. But I put them there's like a $1 tier, $2, $3, because I mean, I used to be a patron of a couple channels actually. $1 a month, that's really nothing. But if you're not well off, do not worry about it. If you're doing great in life and would like to help me create videos in the future, very, very much appreciated. Like I said, I just started the Patreon page, so there's really not benefits, which I might go back through and give you guys certain features in the future, depending on how many I get. If I get 2 patrons, I mean, I don't know if I'm really gonna go through the bother of making extra videos for 2 people. But if I get a decent amount of patrons on Patreon, if I get a decent amount of Patreon, if I get a lot of people supporting me on that site, then I'll be more apt to, give you different benefits, do different tiers. Something I've always wanted to do, blooper and uncut video footage, because I have so much footage I don't use that I kind of want to sometimes, but I'm not just gonna upload tons of raw footage to YouTube. It'll kind of hurt my watch time, and it's kind of boring. I like to keep things with a flow so that it's interesting. But I know a lot of you would like to see more of the raw, uncut footage. I'd like to be able to just throw together some B-side trip videos for you, basically, the stuff, the footage that I'm not using. So that might be available in the future as well. But anyway, just wanted to go on that topic. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button below for just random talks like this, backpacking trip videos, which are kind of my thing. So happy St. Patty's Day. Cheers, and we'll see you on the next one.